Municipal de Vila de Porto, Bárbara Chaves, Santíssimo Senhor Diretor Regional das Relações Exteriores, professor Carlos Amaral, fica sempre o professor Carlos Amaral, Senhora Diretora do Centro de Estudos Internacionais do ISCTE, professora Ana Mónica Fonseca, caros presentes e colegas, Licínia Simão do Atlantic Center e demais colegas que têm ajudado. I'll be speaking in English because of all the participants here, and especially for all the participants that we'll have online. So greetings to everybody here and elsewhere. It's a great joy to return on this spot here at the Biblioteca Municipal de Vila do Porto, where we have organized what we call the forum, at the LPAZ forum since 2015, every 2 years. The first one was aviation writers, aviators, and aviators writers, so about literature and aviation, and then we broadened the scope to, in 2017, aviation, the impact on time and space, and then the pandemic came, and we are now on the rentrée of our endeavor to think about the Atlantic and islands and Santa Maria in the transdisciplinary way, with the support, talking on behalf of LPAZ Association, with the support of our academic partners. Since the beginning, we've worked with University of the Azores, and namely the Humanistic Center, the Center for Humanistic Studies, and also the Center for International Studies from ISCTE. Professor Luís Nuno Rodrigues has always helped us a lot. And I would now make, if you allow me, just to remind the memory of Professor Alan Dobson, who's since 2007 has also been present here in several meetings that we had, and he was fundamental for the Forum LPAZ in 2015. Even about literature, he came here to speak and research about literature on aviation, and he gave much more than this, but also the title for Aviation, the Impact on Time and Space. It was a great honor to work with Professor Alan Dobson, that passed away this spring. So here an homage and an honor to the memory of this great professor, a great historian of the aviation, and a great researcher and professor of international relations. And one of the founders of the TSA, the Transatlantic Studies Association, that is also a partner on this event and has sponsored the Richard Byers' presence here, and I thank them and thank you, Richard Byers, very much for your presence. And so this is only an opening session. We proposed for this Forum LPAZ the title wings of the Atlantic, or Asas do Atlântico, which is an old and important institution on this island that has this title. And to think the Azores as, or to consider the Azores as the motor, the engine of the Atlantic regarding what we can see as a technological leaps that are constantly happening in history in these waters and in these islands. So Atlantic wings, the Azores, and the challenges of the West. It's the title that we had proposed to our academic partners, and I think the ISCTE Center for International Studies, University of the Azores. I think Atlantic Center, that's a young institution created by the Ministry of Defense in Lajes, in Terceira Island, and I think it is already being and will be even more very important to think about all these issues. And I thank you all for your presence, and again, I thank very much for the constant support from the regional government and the municipality for the support for this initiatives from the LPAZ Association with their academic partners. I think I've talked too much for now. I think we'll have other opportunities. I'll pass the word to Ana Mónica Fonseca from ISCTE.
Okay, thank you so much, Antonio. I will also be very brief. So, Your Excellency, Mayor of the Municipality of Vila do Porto, Dr. Bárbara Chaves, Your Excellency, Professor Carlos Amaral from the regional government, dear participants, good morning, everyone. I have to begin by saying that I'm personally very happy to be here today in Santa Maria, in this wonderful building of Biblioteca Municipal, and I'm very happy to be welcoming you in this conference. Not only for being here in Santa Maria, which is, as you know, already a good reason to be celebrating, but especially to be able to finally put together this event. We have been planning this for so long, taking advantage of the flexibility brought with the online activities of the past 2 years. We are also able not only to welcome some speakers in a video conference mode, and therefore we are enriching our program with even more and better participations, but also we are live streaming this event through the YouTube channel and Facebook page of LPAZ. So I wish to also salute and say hello to everybody who may be watching online. So on behalf of the Center for International Studies of the Lisbon University Institute, ISCTE, and of the other academic institutions that have joined us, as Antonio has just mentioned, us, the Center for International Studies and LPAZ in organizing this conference, namely the Center for Humanistic Studies of the Azores University, the Atlantic Center, the Transatlantic Studies Association. We wish to thank you for being here and having accepted to participate and discuss the challenges for the West. We have a wide range of specialists today, academics, stakeholders, who will discuss and reflect upon so many different topics during this conference. We will begin with maritime issues and the challenges, concerns, but also the opportunities that come from a new age of sea exploration, either in a scientific way or in terms of strategic options for Portugal and the Azores. We will then follow with the other stage of global connection that came with the beginning of the 20th century, aviation, perhaps the most studied topic in what concerns the geopolitical relevance of these Atlantic islands. In the afternoon, we will broaden a little bit our perspective and bring in the international relations subject with a wider Atlantic perspective, from Brazil to NATO and the current challenges and changes in the international system so deeply marked by the war in Europe. And finally, we will end with the transversal, transnational, and probably also most relevant topic of the present and certainly of the future, new space policies and strategies. And here we will have 4 speakers that represent the main actors involved in this issue, the regional, national, and European level. So I'm pretty sure that we have all the conditions to have a very fruitful day of discussions and reflections. But last but not least, I'm finishing right now, I just wish to thank António Monteiro, Ricardo Batista, Álvaro Antunes, and all the friends in the LPAZ Association for all the support and enthusiasm during the organization of this conference. I definitely look forward to continuing our collaboration and hopefully continue to come to Santa Maria. Thank you so much and have a good day of work.
Well, good morning. First of all, I would naturally like to greet the members of this opening session, President of this opening session, Her Excellency the Mayor of this island of Vila do Porto, the village of Vila do Porto, this island of Gonçalo Velho. For those of you who come from abroad, it's important to underline that this is where it all started, where our human adventure in these autonomous regions started. And the stones of this building and of the surrounding buildings speak loudly of where we came from and, of course, where we will be headed. The mayor, the colleague from ISCTE, António Monteiro, and from the audience, please allow me to underline with pleasure the presence of colleagues from Okeanos, the colleague from the Regional Directorate of Culture, the colleague from the Atlantic Center. Online, there are more colleagues and friends. The Bard teaches us that the world is a stage and that we are but actors. Actors who, as in the ancient theater, put up masks who identify the role that is being played. I have the privilege of, at this time, playing a variety of roles and being here in a variety of roles. Here as a professor, as Antonio underlined, he was actually my student, and it was a pleasure and a privilege to watch him grow in his academic academic life and in his to see his work. Here I would like to underline with profound appreciation the work, the pioneering work that he is being developed in this domain, in these domains. As a professor, as a coordinator of the research unit of the Center for Humanist Studies of the University of the Azores, centered precisely on the theme that gathers us here, the Azores, Portugal, and the transatlantic Europeanism and the transatlantic relationship, trying to figure out precisely the roles that we can play in this brave new world we live in, where we know where we came from, it is clear, but yet the road ahead is far from being clear. That is two of my of the roles that I am playing here, the personal role as a professor, as a member of the Academy of the Research Center, and the third role is, of course, of Regional Director for European Affairs and External Cooperation of the Azorian government. And in this third role, it is also a privilege to be here to support this event and to present our commitment to these initiatives. Professor José Enes, the founder of the University of the Azores, to describe the Azores, used to at one point refer to a very curious expression. It is a region with a huge ocean and so little land and so few people. It is a place of a huge land, very scanty land, tanto mar e tão pouca gente, e terra tão escassa. It is a place of a huge ocean, it is a place of a huge airspace. And he liked also to underline that the destiny of these islands from the very beginning, on what he called the dominance of the origins. The destiny of these islands is intricately connected to the roles that it can play in the international system and to the services that from these islands, from this island of Gonçalo Velho and from the other islands can be rendered to the international system. And it is these very services that more clearly explains the changes that throughout this half of a millennium that have been brought about these islands, and moments of uncertainty, moments of systemic change, such as the one we live, are particularly fertile for the creative thinking of new roles, of new services that from the Atlantic, from these parts of the Atlantic, we can render. And I say we Azorians as an autonomous region. Autonomy means two things. The right to hear, produce the values, the norms, the choices that we democratically decide for the forging of our common lives. And secondly, the right to participate actively in what is not directly of our competence, but is of the competence of the national authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, as it is well known, modernity, the modern political paradigm, rests on the principle of property. The principle of property of the land surface, of the airspace, of the water masses. Property, as if we see the globe as if in a V shape, starting from the center of the earth, projects itself to the surfaces and outwards to the outer space. Autonomy, being an autonomous region, means that we have the right, we have the obligation to define the best policies to deal with this space that is ours, that belongs to us, this space that belongs to us and that is so fertile in opportunities because of the importance that it historically has and it continues to have to the international system. These islands, our historian colleagues tell us, were long known before the Portuguese came here. They were Portuguese because until the Portuguese came here, nobody had any use for them, for these chunks of land, for this ocean, for this airspace. And it was when Portugal adopted a use for them, for the adventure of the discoveries and the forging of the new world, that we became Portuguese. It is now up to us as an autonomous region. I will conclude immediately. It is up to us now as an autonomous region to define what we want to do, how we want to promote, to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves for us, for this space, for these oceans, for this spot of land on which we have the privilege to live and which we call home. In the two dimensions that I mentioned earlier, in those domains that are that are constitutionally transferred to the competence of the autonomous organs, by ourselves. In those domains that are not, by actively participating in all the decision-making processes and that deal with this land, with these waters, with this airspace that is ours. And so to conclude, it is, of course, perfectly, absolutely natural for the regional government of the Azores to welcome and to support work as this one that is being developed by the association, by LPAZ, and by António Monteiro, and both as regional director and as a professor and as a person. It is with great pleasure that I returned to this island, to this municipality, to this very room in which I have had the pleasure of organizing a series of scientific events and present our commitment, and my commitment, our commitment to continue to do so, because it is of our very future that we are discussing, that we are thinking together, and for the end, it deserves all of our attention. So thank you, Antonio, and best wishes for fruitful work.
Regional Director of European Affairs and External Cooperation, Regional Director of Culture, President of LPAZ Association, Director of the Center for International Studies of ISCTE, speakers and participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everyone, bom dia a todos. Firstly, I would like to welcome all of you that traveled to Santa Maria Island in order to participate in the International Conference Wings of Atlantic, the Azores and the Challenge of the West, such as an opportunity to discuss important issues about the Atlantic island. Just like the organization said, with this program, all of you have the opportunity to debate and reflect the changes that arise in topics such as ocean, aviation, transatlantic relations, and the new space. We believe that all of these are key areas of development, while an island and archipelago that must be the center of the middle, in the middle of the Atlantic. And Santa Maria, for all of its history, all these themes are related with island during the last few decades. For the importance of its airport, not only for the past, but also for in the present and in the future, and the new opportunities related to space, where Santa Maria assumes regional and national centrality, becoming a real space ecosystem. With this conference, we have a possibility to thinking about the territory challenge and new steps to geopolitical relations, with the focus of development of the island of Azores and Portugal. On the other hand, choosing Santa Maria for this kind of events just shows the level of the interest that our island invoke at an international level, but also for recognizing that we have the ideal conditions to hosting international conference like this. This is taking place now because LPAZ Association, to whom I express my gratitude, believe that it was possible to go further, bringing this event to Azores and show how Santa Maria can position itself in what concerns to business tourism segments. To welcome you in our island represent for us an excellent example of engagement on the meeting event segment, as one important contribution that challenge of capturing new flows in low and middle seasons. During these next days, I hope you have a good time to discuss, but also to discover our beautiful island. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all a very good meeting. Thank you.
that's, I use this feedback to remember that we are having online streaming accessible at LPAZ TV at YouTube or the Facebook page from Associação LPAZ. So, we invite the people online to join and to make comments and questions. Ricardo will be able to. Ricardo, it's the LPAZ member who's engineering all this transmission and even local technical apparatus. He may be putting the link for the StreamYard's connection if people want to join. And without further ado, I would pass, because we are getting kind of late, I would pass for the first panel. I would close this opening session and invite Licínia Simão from Atlantic Center to chair the first panel, and where we'll have Luísa Pinto Ribeiro from the Portuguese task group for the extension of the Continental Shelf, who's going to be online. Isabel Valente from 620, Universidade de Coimbra, Coimbra University, which will also be online. And then please, Professor Gui Menezes, if you could join here in the center with Licínia Simão for the first panel, which title is the challenges of the seas, the Atlantic. Thank you all.
Alguém falar do seguinte.